I stalked my husband for 2 years before I formally met him.
Okay. There was a TV show or movie like this, wasn't there? Forget. One of those rom-coms. But anyway.
Rom-com?
Was it the one? Was it with Beyonce? Was it Obsessed? Not Obsessed, was it?
I can't remember, but I remember the scene where they were like, have you been stalking him? And she's like, no. Well, kind of. And it's like, okay, this is creepy. God, 2 years is insane, though. I honestly can't remember. I vaguely remember a blonde lady, so I don't know. But anyway, that's I shouldn't have made that reference if I didn't know where it came from, but I did it already, so too bad.
And let's be honest, I never remember any reference, brother, so I can empathize for you.
We're there together. I'm a holiday brain right now, so
dude, I don't know how fucking Sean does it. He just remembers every quote from every show. I'm like, I don't even remember what I watched 10 minutes ago.
Because there's nothing else in there, brother. That's it.
That and Tim Robinson quotes.
Exactly right.
Oh, you're going to hate the deepfake that I just made for you. It's coming soon.
I hate all the deepfakes. I hate all the deepfakes that you've made of me.
Good. All right. So I, 24 female, married my husband, 28 male, about a year and a half ago. The first time I saw my husband, I was a freshman in high school and he was a freshman in college. So that's
yeah, but it's the other way around, right?
It's the other way around, right? So
I don't know. Like he's not pursuing her, so I don't know. Nothing really wrong with it right now.
Yeah. He was walking his dog at the park when he stopped to talk to my brother, 27 male, because they happened to go to high school together. That was the moment I became hooked. That same day, I found his Instagram, his family's social media, and also where he lived, as my brother offered to walk him home while I tagged along. When I got home that day, I knew I wanted him. But of course, I was only 14 while he was 18, so I came up with a plan. I found out his younger brother was only 1 year younger than me and would be attending my current high school. I figured that I had to befriend his younger brother by any means possible next year when he moves up as a freshman while I became a sophomore, and I did. It took around halfway of my junior year where we became best friends and he invited me over regularly to his house to hang out. This is where I was able to befriend my current husband's mom, and God did she love to talk about him. From her, I found out what college he goes to, his past girlfriends, what his elementary/middle school was, his favorite/least favorite foods, his pet peeve, what he likes, etc., etc.
Could you imagine being the brother who she's befriended, being like, hey,
damn, I just got
my brother? I thought we were hanging out.
Eventually, when my visits started getting more and more frequent, I formally met current husband again. Current husband, I'll call him E, would come over every other week and stay for either Friday, Sunday, or Saturday to Sunday. On those days specifically, I would wear my cutest outfits to impress him and also joke around with him a lot. Eventually, I befriended him as well. A little background on E. He's a school record holder for a certain sport in my school, which I just so happened to do. And around halfway through my senior year, E came back during his season to help coach the current high school athletes, which included me, in order to get some more volunteer work hours in, and I got to spend a lot more time with him. I loved every second of it. We were friends before, but then we became much closer since I got to spend lots of extra time with him after school, where sometimes he would even drive me home since we lived relatively close. Fast forward to when I had to move away to New York City for college. E moved with me since he coincidentally got a job near my college. And they put, edit, I lied? It wasn't a coincidence. I found out he got a job offer and applied to a college nearby his workplace. Being each other's only friends in New State, we became incredibly close. We started dating when I was almost a sophomore year of college, and he proposed to me after I graduated. And we just got married almost a year ago. He knows absolutely nothing about how I truly know him and believes it is fate that brought us together through his younger brother. Lately, I have been debating on whether or not I should tell him, or at least his younger brother, the truth, since the only reason I befriended him was to get closer to E. And Josh is like, God damn, what the fuck? The brother is just like, I thought we were hanging out.
Crazy.
I feel guilty every time he tells others our love story because the truth is, I've known him for 10 years, while he's only known me for about 7. An update. I read a reply saying that the best thing for myself is to keep it a secret, which is what a lot of people are saying. But the best thing for him is to tell him. And I figured that person really is right. I will be telling him this Tuesday on his day off. He deserves to know who he is married or who he married.
Okay. So I will say this. I mean, she was a kid when this all started. Hard to blame a kid for wanting to, like, seeing someone they're attracted to and being like there's worse stories we've heard of. Remember that husband who completely like would fake being Tinder dates and then blow her off.
Ooh.
And then hired guys to like go on dates with her
Reject
and then
her?
act shitty to her so that he would get her. Like that's way worse in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like,
but manipulating every scenario though.
I would say every scenario though, right? Like the track
like
thing
moving to
happened
New
to
York.
be the New York thing for sure. But like the track thing was a spontaneous thing that just happened. They have a common interest. Unless she just joined that because he was in it. I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like she might have did though.
For me, the shittiest thing she did was befriend the brother just to get with him, obviously. But like, I don't know. Beyond that, this is not the worst thing I've ever heard. Yeah, does that make sense?
Sean, your face was saying a lot, brother.
She's 14 when this started. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, but it's been many years since then that she could have fucking been like, is this crazy?
The truth?
Look, I'll agree.
Sure,
there have
sure.
been.
I'll agree. The truth definitely needs to come out.
Yeah. Worse people? Of course. We've dealt with actual people that have questioned if they are Satan themselves.
Yes.
But
that's my bar, I guess, which is troubling, perhaps.
Yeah, but I mean, it definitely is like, look, having a crush is totally normal, totally fine, especially, you know, like older people. You're like, wow, they're grown. They're so hot. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. But being like, all right, next year, I'm going to befriend this person. All right. We've been friends for a year and a half. I am now the best friend. I have manipulated my way up to the best friend. I will be out there. It's just like, okay, having a crush is fine, you know, and then, you know, if coincidences happened up until that point, that's cool. That's fine. But just every single step being so meticulously planned. It's not terrible, but definitely kind of icky. This is something that comes out maybe like as soon as y'all are engaged, actually, maybe be like, okay, before we get married, hopefully even before
I'd say
that,
when you start
talking about getting engaged,
when you start getting together, it's like, hey, you know, when I was 14, I befriended your brother because I wanted to get closer to you. Like, if that's where that stops, it's like,
also
okay,
applied
you know
to a
what?
school next to the place where you know. Got your job
but that's like,
I also befriended your mom and knew every single detail about your life.
Yeah.
Again,
I also
when she
fucking
was
joined
14,
track.
15. Did she only do track because of him?
It just adds up.
I'm assuming.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
It just adds up. It
Fair
makes
enough.
sense.
It's not terrible, but it's definitely icky. And I feel like this, you know, this will lead to her murdering him, I think.
This is the rom-com.
It's like, if no one can have him, if I can't have him, no one can.
Well, I mean, she didn't go to that extreme, to be fair.
Yeah, once
But
he's like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think we should maybe take a break. And then that's when he gets murdered.
Maybe. This is a rom-com if you put the right track behind it, and it's a horror movie if you put the wrong track behind it.
For sure.
And I think that's the perspective we all have on it is, you know, it just depends on how you look at it.
For sure.
And
it's just a lot of meticulous planning for me.
I agree. It is weird.
It's
I
not
just think for
the
half
worst
of it, she was a
thing.
child.
Yeah, but the moving to New York, you know, going to that specific college. I mean, I guess when you're 18, 17, you're still a child. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. I think you should tell them for sure just to air it out. But I don't think, I think keeping the secret is the worst part right now.
All right. You guys ready for the updates?
Oh,
Let's do it.
So they updated July 6, 2023. The first story was actually, and I forgot to mention this, the first story was first posted on June 30th, 2023. So a couple days later. I told him this 4th of July. After the fireworks mostly ended and we were heading back, I asked him in a car, wouldn't it have been weird if we met each other before the first time we actually met, but we just didn't think of each other as significant at the time? He smiled and turned to me saying, That's impossible. There's no universe where we would have met, and I would not think of you as significant. That struck me in the heart because I knew I would soon prove that sentence very wrong.
Yeah, but
I could
also, like, he was 18 and you were 14. He wouldn't look at you in a romantic way. I would hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So good
At
on
least
him.
at least this guy follows a Sean rule, you know?
Yeah.
But I continued on with my plan anyway. What if I told you we have met each other before? Before that time, I was introduced as E's little brother's friend. He looked at me like I was crazy. So that's when I pulled over on the side of the road and pulled out my phone to show him the post I put up here before. That explained everything. So she showed him the whole ass Reddit story, bro.
I mean, I appreciate the honesty here, at least at this point. So good.
He took about 8 minutes to read the whole thing. And when he finished, he put the phone down and stared straight ahead. Almost like he was dumbfounded, scared, and confused all at the same time. I started throwing out every excuse and apology I could muster at the moment for about 15 minutes straight when he decided to tell me to stop, and I did. Then he just sat there and sobbed uncontrollably for about 10 minutes before he finally asked me how much of our relationship and how much of my identity was fabricated according to his liking. I told him the honest truth. None of my personality or identity was fabricated for him, except for the fact of how we met. The only thing I ever changed about myself to make him like me more was lying about liking Chinese food. I hate Chinese food. Why? Are you racist? But other than that, everything else was real. Although my friendship with his younger brother was built upon ill intentions, my friendship between his brother and I are now one of the most genuine friendships I have now. He just cried and told me that he does not want to divorce at all, but he does want us to have some time apart so that he could absorb the truth that I gave him. He also said that he expects me to tell his brother and his mom this Friday because they deserve to know the truth just as much as he did. I told him okay, and we drove about the rest of the ride home in silence. When we got home, he hugged me and cried for about 5 minutes before he got out the car, packed his stuff, and said that he will be staying at a nearby hotel for now. He said that he knows that he still loves me, but does not yet know how to react to the fact that the beginning of our relationship was very, very orchestrated. To sum it all up, I guess telling him was a success? I honestly don't know. He sent me a good night and I love you text last night while he was out at the hotel. So I guess he's not as mad as he may have been betrayed. Update 2. Woke up this morning to find out that hubby not only lied about going to a hotel to stay at, but also lied about not wanting a divorce. He went to his family's home, not a fucking hotel, told them the entire story himself, probably exaggerated too to make me seem crazy. His whole family wants nothing to do with me too, claims I'm psycho. He said that he lied about going to a hotel because he knew if he told the truth, I would try to stop him. Honestly, I feel so betrayed. I tried to be a good wife by showing him the true me, and this is what he does? I did all this work just for it to end up like this? Honestly, I kind of deserve it. I didn't even tell him in the first place because I felt bad. I told him because I had suspicion that he was catching on to the fact that I knew him for 2.5 years before he knew me, largely because I found out he was keeping my old phone in his work desk. My old phone that has screenshots of a lot of his old Instagram posts, plans in my notes app about him, so I guess he never truly loved me if he can't even get past an honest confession like this one. I might update this in a few years when I find a new husband. LOL.
Oh God. Okay, that was sinister at the end. Yeah,
I knew she's gonna murder him.
Yeah, I was wrong. I think, like especially with the phone, with the screenshots and the planning, like that's over the top for sure. It's one thing to try and meet with someone because you're interested in them. It's another to meticulously plan everything. I think I've converted over based on that.
Yeah. Again, not the worst person we've ever dealt with, but also a lot of it is icky.
And like I keep saying, most of it when she was, a child, but that changes once you start getting in a relationship. You should be honest and be like, hey, your brother, I actually am truly friends with him, but I did start becoming friends with him so that I could get closer to you. Like at that point, it doesn't sound weird. It's like, hey, I have orchestrated this whole relationship. Sounds kind of creepy and disgusting. So yeah,
I would feel absolutely betrayed if I was that husband. I'm like,
100%.
wow, is everything just a master plan to you? Like, am I just a game at this
a
point?
means to an end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be
Again,
pretty
this
creeped
is-
out. I'm not gonna lie to you.
This is true crime. and the last sentence, like, I'll update this in a few years when I find a new husband. What are you gonna do to him?
No. When I find a new hubby, LOL is
LOL.
crazy to end that. That is
You
so
right?
psychotic. I'm scared of you.
Told you
Dude, and
she's
the
gonna
fact that
murder him.
the fact that the husband reacted that way to the point that's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm just going to a hotel. He's like, nah, fuck that, I'm going home. So there's strength in numbers over here. Because she knew she was probably
Yeah.
watching his ass in the hotel mirror, like, are you fucking really staying here?
Yeah.
Get therapy.
I'm not ready.
Get therapy.